Hello, and welcome to the Beyond podcast, where Chris Hardwick, a seasoned adventurepreneur and executive business coach, will discuss with Nihad their shared passion for transforming corporate cultures. Chris combines the life of adventure with that of an entrepreneur and brings the spirit of adventure into organizations he works with for a positive and lasting impact on people and organizational culture. Now let's listen for great insights from two restless global citizens who are also friends and business partners.
Good morning, Chris. Welcome to the Beyond podcast. A great meeting with you early this morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, Nihad, and it's great to be here. And like you, I probably would have been great to have had a few more hours of sleep, but busy burning the candle at both ends these days.
Yes, I could have used more sleep myself, but happy to be here. Reflecting on our friendship, I believe we met a couple of years ago, and we've been going for weekly walks where we've been exchanging health hacks and also enjoying the beautiful nature, beautiful scenery that downtown Vancouver has to offer. And before I share more with the audience, I would like you to tell us a bit more about your journey and what you've been up to lately.
Yeah, that'd be great. And feel free to cut me off at any time. From Sydney, Australia, parents from England. I always find heritage quite interesting. And chased my wife to Canada in the late 80s and have lived in Vancouver, BC, Canada for the last 30 odd years. I spend my time playing in the mountains and traveling around this amazing world that we live in, exploring, seeing the sights, experiencing the cultures. And I just love meeting people from all over the world. And yeah, that's what I'm all about, is going on adventures. And I was a serial entrepreneur, bought and sold, built, lost 9 companies over a 15-year period, and learned lots about that. And over the course of the last few years have discovered executive business coaching as something that I'm incredibly passionate about. I love helping leaders find their purpose in life and determine how they would like to spend their life. And a lot of that is what we're going to talk about this morning.
Fantastic. Also, Chris, let's say that we do have common interests. Obviously, we both love fast cars, but we're not going to discuss that here. Not today. I mean, we do have a keen interest in culture, in traveling, and also in maintaining good health. I am passionate about ancestral wisdom. I have a keen interest in researching that. I've been doing that for years. An example of that will be Ayurvedic teachings. And we exchange health hacks to see how we can help each other. But I must say the weekly walks are a game changer, because these walks were not happening during the weekend, and they were not happening at the end of the day. They were happening during busy weekdays, in the middle of the day or mid-afternoon. And that was really a game changer. And I must say, I do take my bike and ride nearly every day. But it's not the same, because when you're talking to a fellow entrepreneur, and there is a great exchange, I'm pretty sure your stress levels go down pretty quick. And also breathing fresh air in the middle of the day is creates more space, more brain capacity, if I may. Now, we were not doing that in a professional setting, obviously, but I know for a fact that you leverage the exact same approach to help your clients. And this is a new and a different approach to coaching. So let's hear more about that.
For sure. And yeah, we have had some, and we'll continue to have some wonderful walks
Thank you.
in the beautiful forests around Vancouver. And I've always had this premise that in order to set ourselves up for success and live the life to our true potential, it's very important that we have some foundational pieces really sorted out. And health and wellness, which includes both physical health, mental health, and emotional health, without a really solid foundation in those three areas, how can we ever be the best we can be as an entrepreneur, as a partner, as a parent, as an employer, as a CEO, leader, whatever role we have in life? In order to achieve our full potential, we really need to have our relationships in good order, and just our overall well-being, managing stress, reducing stress, and setting ourselves up for success in order to lead the life of our dreams.
Absolutely, Chris. And reflecting back on my experience with burnout and serious health conditions from years ago, I am grateful because these were very good experiences that led me to invest, research, and implement habits that changed completely my outlook, changed my life, really, and my way of being. So looking back, obviously, unfortunately, I looked into it when my back was against the wall. That was certainly not a proactive approach, right? And the point I'm making here is, why wait? Be proactive and be prepared and position yourself and your loved ones for success. Now, going back to you, Chris, I know that in the midst of climbing mountains, traveling, running, biking, and taking care of clients, I believe you are planning to expand, right?
Yeah, well, definitely making a bit of a pivot as I go from working more locally here in British Columbia and a little bit of work on the west coast of the US, definitely pivoting to more of a global operation. And that is really just aligned with my passion for global adventure. And one of the things that I've been really exploring the last few months specifically is this interconnectivity between adventure and entrepreneurialism and business. And I think that they're really intertwined. And when we think about an entrepreneur who is so passionate about this new idea that they leave this safety net often of a job, they hustle some money from friends and family to fund this new operation. It's all about risk taking, and they launch this business, and often with no real consideration around personal health and well-being. They're so focused on this objective that they want to achieve. And unfortunately, I actually refer to it in my book as being a bit of a curse. It's almost like we're born with this disease, and we don't understand what's happening. We just know that this is something we must do and we must achieve, and we must devote our life to it. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, we get so focused on this opportunity, and we're so passionate about it that we forget about looking after ourselves. And we forget about all of the things that we even know that we should do. Eating well, sleeping well, drinking lots of water, getting lots of exercise, being on a clean diet. And we forget to set ourselves up for success. And we end up, as you explained and you shared, often ending up in a burnout situation. And I think that any entrepreneur, whether they're a solopreneur or whether they've led major organizations globally like you have, falls into the trap of working too hard. and they put in too many hours, and they know while they're doing it that they need to take a break, but they don't. And it's just something that is it's a little sad, actually, because if we follow our bodies, if we listen to what's going on in our own bodies and our own minds, we're really aware of this, but we attempt to push it away. And that is what causes things like burnout. We've all been there. Any entrepreneur you talk to has experienced both success and failure, as have I. I was building a group of companies a few years ago. I went from 0 to 50 million in 4 years, completed 5 acquisitions. I was working not a ridiculous amount of hours, because it's pretty hard to be in Vancouver and not be attracted by the mountains and the mountain bike riding and everything else. So I would say I was pretty balanced in that perspective, but only because of my passion for adventure and the immediacy and the ability to just hop on my bike and be in 15 minutes in the most beautiful mountains in the world. I should say, Nihad, that there's a very intentional reason why I live in Vancouver, and probably for similar reasons to you.
Yes, absolutely.
That it's the most accessible place in the world, and I have traveled to 87 countries to date, and I plan on going to all of them. And when I came to Vancouver, it was like, this is everything. It's perfect. That we've got the wilderness at our doorstep. We're at a major city. We can pop over to, half an hour to the border into the US. We can jump on a plane to Europe and jump on a plane to Asia, and it's not a bad place to be. But I want to bring it back to my conversation and the question around this sort of new approach. And what I've realized is that there's really no difference between an entrepreneur and an adventurer. They're all about taking risks. They're all about going out and doing something that is difficult, challenging, risky, potentially harmful to your own body, depending upon how far you go. But no difference to an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur can kill himself through stress and heart attacks and diabetes and brain disease and cancer, just like an adventurer can maybe kill themselves falling off a cliff or doing something crazy like that.
Exactly.
But they're very similar. And to the point where I've realized that they're one and the same. And I've coined this phrase, adventurepreneur. And I realized that that's really who I am. And that's who I believe you are. And I believe there's a lot of adventurepreneurs out there that I would love to connect with and share with them a 9-step plan that I've developed to coach and mentor people through this process of understanding what's going on in their world and how they refocus their lives around this concept of adventurepreneurialism.
Again, as you said, Chris, it's also about awareness. And when you're in an environment where you're constantly challenged, you're constantly in a state of cognitive overload because of technology, you're challenged because you're bombarded by stress from everywhere, and you're not connected to yourself, you're not aware that you're in a constant state of stress, and disease happens pretty quickly. So there's burnout, but as you said, there is cancer, there's all kind of risks like strokes and heart attacks even, and they're more common than we think. So what I find with your approach is when you remember, I was telling you, Chris, I'm busy, and you're telling me, no, you're coming out for a walk. You remember? And that was awesome because it was a great addition to a bulletproof approach to health, nutrition, spirituality, and exercise, among many other things. But still, it was a great addition to what I was doing to remain present and healthy. But what I wanted to discuss with you today, Chris, is how we take this knowledge, these healthy habits, these concepts, and have more of an influence on the corporate culture.
Yeah, I mean, that's thank you very much for that question, because that does really drill into a little bit more about how I do what I do. And I'll share a couple of examples. I started about a year ago. I switched all of my 2-hour one-to-ones that I do with most of my clients, which are in person at their offices, unless we do it via Zoom. But one of the things that I've started doing, and I'll be driving to their office, and I'll say, hey, do you want to meet up at the local park and go for a walking one-to-one, maybe for the first hour or something? And invariably the answer is, there's a pause. And it's like, oh, I'd love to get out of the office. And so a lot of my client meetings now are walking one-to-ones. And there's lots of beautiful parks in Vancouver, so we're blessed with that. So it's very easy to go to a nearby park, 5 or 10 minutes from their office. And, it's not like you need to have a change of clothing and stuff. Maybe even dress shoes will do the job, really. But often people have got, maybe some casual shoes in their vehicle or something. And we go for a walk. And I've had situations where, I remember one of my clients, the first time we did it, we were literally 5 minutes into the forest, and he stopped. And he just started doing this deep breathing. And he's like I can just feel the oxygen coming into my lungs. And he had like this meditative pause. And we just stood there for like 5 minutes. And he was just breathing in the clean air. And we went for a 2-hour walk. And, we just, the creative juices were flowing. We talked about all kinds of things that were going on in his business and in his life. And he had an opportunity to share. And we walked through, we talked through those things as we were walking. And I've been doing that now with some clients for a couple of years. And, you can walk 10K in 2 hours if you walk at a good clip. And a 10K walk in 2 hours, I mean, that's pretty impressive, but it's doable. And so I've got all these routes now around the city where I meet with my different clients. And some of them are a little bit more adventurous, and we'll go for a hike, or we might go for a bike ride, or we'll stop for coffee afterwards or something. But what we've been finding is there's this deep-seated need that all of us have, not just business owners and business leaders, but I think everybody has this need to get outside and get into nature. And what we forget is that we've spent, irrespective of your religious beliefs, we've spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years as Homo sapiens in the wilderness. It's only in the last few generations that we've been stuck in front of computers in the office with unnatural lighting. We're in a comfortably heated or air-conditioned office, with these horrendous chairs and desks that we sit in and at, and I have a standing desk, which I use regularly. But this is all recent. This has all happened in the last few generations, and we forget that our bodies weren't designed for this. Our bodies were designed to be outside, in the wilderness, in the forests, whatever it looks like wherever you live, in the deserts. It doesn't really matter. The point is that's what we were designed for. So really, all I do is I get people in touch with the reality of, getting out of the office and getting back to experiencing nature. And, we do a lot of different things with the clients that I work with. That one particular client, I called him up last Friday, and there was a whole bunch of laughter and chatter in the background. And I'm like, where are you? He says, oh, I'm on my way up the Sea to Sky Gondola in Squamish with my leadership team. We're going hiking for a couple of hours. I talked to another one of my clients. I spoke to him on the Monday. He'd been whitewater rafting with his leadership team on the Chilliwack River the week before. And, on and on and on the list goes of the people that I've been working with. And one of the same results that they're all getting is their team is energized. Their team comes back into the office the next day with new ideas, with new passion for what they're doing, with new vigor, and they've had these what I call mountaintop experiences where now they're coming up with new ideas and disruptive ideas to their industry and their businesses. And this is all just because they went and got outside for half a day and had a bit of fun. And these experiences galvanize the culture of the organization, where they'll be laughing and sharing about the things they did, last week, or, remember when we did that. And I'm hearing from my clients that since we started doing this, there has been complete transformation in the cultures of their businesses.
Chris, I love your clients' feedback, but I'm not surprised at all because going outside, breathing fresh air, and bonding as a team is a wonderful thing with tangible impacts. The U.S. National Library of Medicine has published serious research on the effect of nature-themed recharge room, I believe, on healthcare workers and their stress levels and anxiety. And the result urged organizational leaders to offer psychological support programs such as nature-themed recharge rooms to help reduce the healthcare workers' stress and anxiety. So this specific study was geared toward healthcare workers. We don't need here in Vancouver nature-themed recharge rooms because we have a beautiful nature in our backyard. So to your point, just go out there and enjoy the sights, enjoy the mountains, enjoy the bike lanes. Also, Chris, the reason why I have a good appreciation of what you're achieving for your client is because I offer my clients retreats and offsites, and the result is amazing. Tangible results on individuals, teams, and the overall corporate culture. And the reason for that is you can only achieve so much through a team meeting or a Zoom meeting. You need to meet in person. You need to be able to build trust, to bond over a couple of activities, learn together. And that's what we're creating. That's the opportunity we're creating for these teams and organizations. Very difficult to bond when you're sitting across from a couple of continents and trying to communicate and collaborate.
Most definitely. The ability to create new experiences outside of the office grind and to build and develop stronger interpersonal relationships with your fellow teammates and team members. It just takes those relationships and that culture of the organization to another level. And so what I'm working on now is bringing a culture of adventure into organizations, because I realize that that's what's missing in most businesses today. People talk about culture, but I'm all about living culture. And this is not something you put on a plaque and you frame up on the wall, like some values or a mission statement. This is take that plaque and throw it away, and instead go for a walk in Wonderland. Take your team out just to the park. Take a Frisbee, take a soccer ball, whatever. It's like just get out of the bloody office and have a bit of fun. You don't need to go for a day. You don't even need to go for a weekend necessarily, but just get out there and have a bit of fun for like half an hour or so. And everyone will come back in. They'll be laughing. They'll be energized. And they get back to work and they're so much more efficient and so much more productive. And you can take that to the next level. You talked about retreats. And yeah, I'm taking a group of people to Kilimanjaro this year. But it's really about giving people the opportunity to also learn what they're capable of achieving. And whether it's retreats, like you said, getting back to nature, that's where we belong. And so this is really about just getting to where we belong and connecting with ourselves, connecting with the environment, connecting with other people. And it's that break that it's like hitting the reset button almost on our lives. It just gives us this completely new sense of focus. And in those times, we don't realize it, but our subconscious, the wheels of our subconscious are just spinning away, and we get back into the office, whatever, a week or so later, and wow, all of a sudden we've got all these great ideas and these new ideas, and we're refreshed and we're energized, and we're able to focus on what's truly important. And getting back, I just want to tie that back to where we started off. These are the sorts of things that will considerably reduce the likelihood of serious ailments, because all we're doing is we're setting ourselves up for success by getting outside, going on some adventures, challenging ourselves, learning what we're capable of, bringing those new experiences back into our work environment, and really forging a new path and a new direction.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing with us the concept of Adventurepreneur. I do confirm to the audience that you are one. I believe we're going to go for a walk again Friday. I look forward to it. And thanks again for recording this podcast with me.
Thank you.
Since they recorded this podcast, the two restless travelers have visited the Dominican Republic, where they will host corporate retreats emphasizing ancestral wisdom and nature-based adventures. In November, Chris was the proud recipient of the Tech Canada Master Chair Excellence Award.